when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out.
Hello, Miami. Thank you so much for watching 305 Sports Now. And we are on 305 Live. And I just want to thank all of you for joining me tonight. And I want to apologize for my voice. It has not been doing very well the last couple of days. I am drinking a lot of tea. But I had to bring on this guest, man. This guest is a great friend of the show. As a matter of fact, I owe the start of 305 Sports Now to this man, as he was my first guest ever on this program when I was just doing audio. And those of you who have been following me since the very beginning know this man as one of the greatest coaches I've ever known, Mr. Manny Matsakis. Manny, how's it going, sir?
Great. Well, man, your voice is, man, what are you doing? You're screaming too much. What's going on?
I have no idea. I woke up, I think it was yesterday, the day before, and it was like, and on top of that, I lecture, so it made it even worse. It's been almost a couple of years. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. A lot going on, and been enjoying the Ohio Valley where I live here, and right on the Ohio River, about an hour from Pittsburgh is where I'm located. Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. That's amazing. And one of the reasons why you're, I'm sorry, I brought you on here tonight is because of your, people don't know you, your background. You worked under the legendary Bill Snyder, the coach at Kansas State, and you worked with, I like to get that correct, with the late Mike Leach over with the Texas Tech Raiders. And you're a wealth of knowledge, and your football IQ is one of the best I've ever heard. You're also the innovator of the jet sweep, and you also know, because of your air raid tree, our offensive coordinator, Mr. Shannon Dawson. So I want to ask you about last year. It was a tough year for him. He is having a magnificent year. The Hurricanes are number one in offense with 43.8 points per game at number one, 544 yards per average, making them number one in the nation. And they obviously have the best quarterback in the country in Cam Ward with almost 3,500 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. So, how much of this is Dawson? How much of this is Ward? I know Dawson usually works very well with dual threat quarterbacks. Is Cam Ward the perfect fit for a Shannon Dawson offense?
Well, it's certainly looking that way right now. Now Shannon can work with a lot of different guys. I mean, you look at his career, and it's funny. Today I was talking to my buddy Hal Mummy, who gave him his first job, which is pretty neat, at Southeast Louisiana. And it's interesting. We spent about an hour just talking air raid and what Shannon was doing, and just talking ball. And it's interesting because it's like he could do it with other types of quarterbacks. I mean, I know at Texas Tech, we never had a dual threat guy. I mean, we had Cliff Kingsbury and a whole slew of other guys that could throw the ball everywhere. But the air raid has, depending on the quarterback, it gets morphed, right? Cliff, when he had Kyler Murray, it looked different than it did with other guys, like Baker Mayfield and those guys that were running it at Oklahoma. So I think he's a perfect fit for the offense the way it is right now. They've got great skill players, which really helps that. I think it makes it tougher for the defense to deal with a guy that can tuck it and run, because they have to account for him. And if he's straight drop back, you have to do some different things, more screens and things to get things set up. But all in all, yeah, Shannon's got a great quarterback there, perfect fit for him, and should be a high draft choice when the time comes. And he's impressive. I mean, this guy's a winner. I think that's his number one characteristic, is he wins. And no matter whatever level that Cam's been, he's won. He's been very explosive. And I love his leadership skills. I mean, really, I think that's what separates him out from other guys. Because when you got a guy that walks in the locker room, everybody says, "Oh, he's the dude." I mean, that's big. That's saying a lot at the U, because there's been a lot of great players come through there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cam Ward is the best single season quarterback of all time. Reason a single season is because Jim Kelly had a full career at the University of Miami. So did Gino Torretta. So did Ken Dorsey. And Cam's had 1 year, but he's pretty much smashed all their records. And he's pretty much, I could say, outperformed them. It's a different era of football as well, but he's outperformed them in his one single season, helming the University of Miami. One of the few criticisms of Shannon Dawson that Canes fans have had this season has been the fact that there really haven't been any outside runs. And if you follow the University of Miami, Miami is very stacked at running back. I mean, very stacked. There's anybody on that team could be an RB1 for any school. And one of the biggest criticisms I said is the outside run. You're the orchestrator of the jet sweep. Is that something that is just not part of Shannon Dawson's offense, or is it more maybe a Mario thing where he's known for wanting to go smash mouth with the best of them?
Well, Shannon should call me. I can help him the same way I helped Mike. I mean, it was, originally in the air raid when we were at Texas Tech, Mike was the same way. I mean, we don't run out. It's not part of the system, the outside zone and all that.
Okay.
However, we sat down numerous times in Lubbock and just went over the jet sweep, how we ran it. And when I was at Wyoming and previously at Emporia State, and he was just captivated by it. It was sort of funny, Will. It's like we'd have these private chalk talk sessions in his office, just he and I, and then he would go back into the offensive meetings, and there's Dana Holgerson and Sonny Dykes and a whole bunch of other guys in there, and he would say, "Here's what we're gonna do," and I'm like, and I never said a word. It's like, shoot, man, I'll give you whatever you want, because at that point we had a kid named Wes Welker that was a slot for us. And we thought he'd be a pretty good jet sweep guy and would open up the offense nicely. So it worked great. Also opened up the downfield play passes off of that. Even Hal Mummy told me today when we talked a little bit about just the air raid and the outside game, because I knew we were going to talk about it. And he goes, look, man, it's not really part of the deal, the way that they run this. But I know, I guess he was in the spring league coaching, and he goes, I'll be honest, I stole it from you, man. It's like, I saw the jet sweep. It made sense. And people struggled with it. And I think he won the championship that year. And that was part of his run game, because, it's like the air raid it's more of a deal that it's like it borrows from some successful systems. Primarily like BYU, what they did with Lavelle Edwards, that's the roots of it. And then also what Mouse Davis was doing in the run and shoot. So there are certain factions of it. And then if they see something they love like this, like when Leach saw the jet sweep, he said, man, that's cool. Let's do this. And he found it as another way to throw the ball, to be honest. Our play pass was killer. So it was, it worked out great. But I think that would definitely help him. He knows how to reach me. I mean, I've texted him, but he's winning, and he's doing a great job. But I will say, when I watch some of their video, well, part of it is, and I'm wondering where this is coming from, because they don't really look like an air raid team to the core, like the roots of it. There's certain parts that just aren't in the air raid DNA. And one specific part that actually Hal and I brought up today in our conversation was that their line splits, they're not real wide like true air raid teams can be. They're more toe to toe. So I'm thinking it may come from the influence of the head coach, because he's an O-line guy and their O-line coach. And that way, when you're doing that, thinking if you're going to be an inside run team, their thought process is we're going to bounce the play. It'll become an outside run. Mm-hmm. So when you're watching the way that the plays are working, when they do go outside, that's just the way it happens. The linemen are toe to toe. They're smacking guys up, and then they get a play to bounce outside. And I think Mario thinks that's an outside run, although it is not, because if they're going to do it that way, they need to spend some time in the off season to get a little better at that, if that's what they want.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because when Mark Fletcher's gone outside, he's bounced outside. When Martinez has gone outside, he's bounced outside. when Lyle had that that I think it was a 95-yard run against USF. He bounced outside. He was supposed to be interior and bounced outside. The thing that boggles my mind a little bit about this is because teams are keying in now and they're pinching a lot more, and to try to stop the run. So with all the speed, because Miami has a good combination, and that's how they recruit. They recruit the beast, which is the 235-pound monster, which are your Fletcher Martinez, but then you get Chris Johnson, AJ Allen, and Chris Whitley Humphrey, who just picked up in the last recruiting cycle, and they're speedsters. So you would think that you would have outside runs in your system. As far as stretching out defensive lines, because that's one of the arguments that a lot of podcasters are making that cover the team, that if you go outside, you could stretch out the defensive lines, which may even open up holes in the interior. How valid are those points? And do you think that would be a good idea to incorporate possibly for next season when we don't have Cam Ward?
Yes, without question. I think they should look at some of the things that the 49ers are doing, where they're, you see it, the jet sweep all over the NFL, but they're jet sweeping, run zone the other way. I mean, it's sort of like the popular thing to do nowadays. 10 years ago, it didn't exist, but they're all geniuses. So it's one of those deals that, I think that could work easily with the air raid. The one thing about it is in the jet sweep, you can run it out of the pistol or gun, or you can get under the center. So depending on the next quarterback, that could bail them out, right? And then they could have an outside zone off of that, which I know for a fact when I watch NFL teams do it, and occasionally a college team that a lot of them aren't very proficient at it. You got to major in that. So, when you watch them, it's like, you better make sure that your line is able to reach and run and stretch everything out. And when that happens, the outside zone sometimes bends back and it's out the gate. So, I mean, I think that would be a great thing when you don't. I mean, they may get the greatest dual threat quarterback again next year. You don't know. I mean, it's Miami. My goodness, it's not rocket science to recruit there. It's pretty doggone easy. I just, the thing about Mike Leach, I can remember him telling me he was down in Key West and he was trying to get that Miami job. He was like, he was out of a job, wanted it. Our president, Donald Trump, he called, who was the lady? There's the president there. Was it
Donna Shalala?
Yes, he called her. Said, you need to hire Mike Leach. He's sitting down in Key West. He'll come up. And she didn't even give him the time of day, which shocked me. It's like Mike, he had two dream jobs, Miami or Southern Cal. Those were his dream jobs. He would have walked to Miami to be their head coach. And she didn't even consider him. And, Donald Trump says you should hire him. I think she should have listened,
Yeah. The only thing I can say in fairness to her, she brought her medical program to its highest levels, but she was terrible when it came to football operations and not a very good judge of character when it came to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know her. I just remember the name,
the controversy, the controversy as well. But I mean, from the perspective of a lot of the fan base, she wanted a more corporatist style coach, so she went with Al Golden, which didn't work out. And Mike Leach, who's the talent level in the state of Florida, would have fit his scheme perfectly. He's the coach that everybody wanted, to be honest with you, during that time period. It was either him or Cristobal. Those are the two guys that fans wanted because Mario had been successful at FIU, and Leach is, he basically, was a Florida resident at the time and with the skilled athletes. So I know you don't know her, but I'm just telling you that from a fan's perspective. And watching her operate during the football programs down years in his time. So one thing I like about the jet sweep, and I want to continue with it, is also the options you have. Because in an RPO system, I think the jet sweep keeps defenses on their toes because you have the chance of a run outside, a run inside, a quarterback throw, or a quarterback draw. Am I right to think that way, or is there more variations to it that I should know about? Coach, I think you're muted. Coach, I can't hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called going live. Let me see. Let me see. I think I could. Can you hear me now, Coach? Yeah, hold on. Let me bring you out and bring you back in. Try again. No, I still can't hear you. Hear me now, Coach? Yeah. Nope. This happens quite a bit sometimes with StreamYard. Okay. Coach, what I'm gonna ask you to do right now, and I'll prolong the show a little bit, is sign out and sign back in. That may work. Okay, so try that, and I'll bring you back on. That could be an option to try this. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, again, that's Coach Manny Matsakis. He'll be back on until we can fix the audio within his microphone. And yes, one of the things that I know that we can't complain much about the offense, because the offense has been absolutely electric this year, and it's bailed out the defense in many sequences throughout the season. Cam Ward has put up good numbers. He's extended plays, and the running game has peaked at the right time, as we've seen since Martinez went and became running back number 2. He's been absolutely balling, for the University of Miami. And Fletcher's been as well when he's been in the game. He's been very effective as well. What I would like to see more, and a lot of us have talked about it online, is more of the speedsters out there. I would like to see Jordan Lau make another appearance on the field, get some run, especially AJ Allen. When AJ Allen has been out there, AJ Allen has been absolutely sensational. He has been electric. He's not only been fast and difficult to tackle and difficult to catch on the run, he has been absolutely brutal to tackle. He has lowered that shoulder and he's put guys down. AJ Allen is somebody that needs to be on that field. When the Canes on November 23rd take on Wake Forest, there has to be some adjustments to the offense. I would like to see some more outside runs, and I would definitely love to see more AJ Allen, Jordan Lau, and you have to give some run to guys like Chris Johnson outside of him returning kicks, because he's way too fast and he will be a nightmare on the edge. See if Coach, can you hear me now?
How about now?
That's so much better.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I changed the microphone. I figured that maybe that would help out. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that happens a lot with this service. So that turns off people's microphone. It's even more fun when we're live.
Okay. That's no worries. As long as you can hear me, I'm fine. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. No, so I was asking you about the variations of the jet sweep, that it's very helpful because you have the ability to go outside. You have the ability to possibly freeze a defense and go inside between the tackles. You have a possibility for a pass, or you have a possibility for a quarterback draw. Am I right to think that way? Or are there more variations regarding that?
There's quite a bit. I mean, okay. One thing I really like about the jet sweep is as you start to get better at it, the misdirection is huge. So it's like things like, let's say you're in the pistol or you're in the gun with a sidecar, and you got the jet sweep coming right here, and you can ride it, basically flash it, and then I would be running counter backside. Mm-hmm. So now you're pulling counter tray coming. That play will be bouncing out every time out there. I did it in Canada when I was at Winnipeg, and nobody could stop it. It was one of those things. I think also getting in two backs and running it causes problems. There's so much to it. I mean, I've clinic guys, everybody, top NFL coaches all the way to high schools. They want to know how to do it. So, I mean, there's a whole package to it. The key is it's a system. And if you start to watch, how's the defense playing? That's your key, because what are they doing? Are they slanting the D line? Are they, bumping linebackers? Are they rolling the secondary? That's all. They can do three things. Whatever they do, you just need to know the counter punch, and then you're good. You just call it at the right time. It's out the gate.
Well, Coach, I have a surprise for you.
Go.
I have a surprise for you. One of your former players is a very, very, very good friend of mine, and he's my brother in the University of Miami podcasting world. You know this man as Joey Williams, but we call him Joey Skills. Joey from the You Heard pod. Oh my gosh, my computer. There we go. From the You Heard podcast joins us live.
Oh my man! Now this guy, I'll tell you what. He is a great receiver, man, off the charts. I honestly think, Will, he may never have told you this. He got injured at the end of his career, broke his leg pretty bad. I believe one more season, he's playing in the NFL.
Oh,
That's how good he
man.
was. Yeah, legit, really, and a great guy. I
Yeah,
mean,
we love Joey, man. Joey is one of the most stand-up guys. The You Heard family has adopted me as part of their own. I've been on their show several times. They've been on mine as well. We've really clicked within the content creation a spear per se as well. They've even given me a nickname. That's how much. That's how well we know each other. I'm either Willie Falcone one day or Willie Diamonds the next. So
Willie Diamonds.
there we go.
Right. So Joey, you didn't know I knew Will, huh?
No, I didn't know. He told me a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? Why do you know? Why do you know my coach, man? What's going on, brother?" And yeah, he told me, and it's a small world. It's a small world. You already know. So, yeah, how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, man. There's so much going on right now. It's coaching again here soon, and I feel like the movie The Godfather, where they draw you back in. I thought I was retired.
You can't leave it alone.
Yeah, it happens, but it'll be exciting. This new pro league and things are going to be a lot of fun. And we'll talk about that a little bit if you want.
Nice. Thanks for having me, Will. I appreciate you, man. It was very thoughtful for you to do this, man. I appreciate this. Bro.
Yeah, I owe Coach a lot. When I was first starting out and no one wanted to come on my show because I wasn't big time, he actually reached out and said, "Hey, I've coached football. I know some guys. I'd like to help you out." And that's it. That's pretty much how everything started. And he was my first guest of the Football Persuasion ever on 305 Sports Now. I go way back with him. I was doing audio before I got involved in YouTube, and our first ever interview was an audio. It's still on Spotify. Our first ever interview was on audio. It wasn't even on YouTube. So yeah, I owe Coach Matsakis a lot. I really do. But I gotta ask a question, Coach. How was Joey, the college student? I gotta ask that question.
Don't ask that. Let's not talk about
ask.
that.
Coach, come on. Give us a T, man. Give us a T.
He was a great football player. That's all I got to say.
That's all you got to. That's all that matters.
He could hoop it too now. He could shoot hoops. He could do it all. Great athlete, man. Amazing.
Okay. Joey, I have a question for you. Yes. How was Coach Matsakis? He's soft-spoken and very nice on the air. How was Coach when it was time to practice?
He was the same. He was a great teacher. That was the most important thing. I believe coaches have to be able to teach and reach everyone, because everyone learns differently. Everyone absorbs information differently, and he taught very well. So the offense was so dynamic, but it was simple. Like, he taught it well, and we learned it, and he was just a great teacher. And he was always cool. The way he is now, that's how he was. I think I saw him yell probably like 3 times. Yeah, really.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. That's an incredible story, as well. So, from what you've heard so far, Joey, when they used to jet sweep with you guys as well, right, over at Emporia State? Oh, were you the receiver, or were you part of a different package?
Both. I started out inside, I believe, Coach, and then I moved outside. All of us played every position, I feel like. I feel like everyone moved around for the most part. We learned every position. Like, I learned football in Emporia. Like, I played football all my life, but I didn't really know football. I learned it with Coach Matsakis. Like, I learned how to read a defense. I didn't know how to read a defense at all before I got to his program. So I learned how to read a defense. I learned how to actually play the position of wide receiver, because I got to Emporia as just an athlete. I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah, he's a great teacher, man. Oh, man. Great teacher.
Okay. Coach, I hope you like your surprise.
Go ahead.
I hope you like your surprise.
Yeah, I love it. Are you kidding me? I was thinking about you today, Joe. I was thinking about your son.
Yeah.
Actually, today I was actually thinking, I should call Joe. I'm glad I didn't because we hooked up here, but I am going to be calling you. You know.
Yeah. We'll talk about. I got good news on that front. So.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I just want to make sure I can help him. So that's important. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's like family, Will. It's one of those things, man. You're always there to help your guys, you know.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It really is, Coach. Joey, I'm gonna have you plug your stuff afterward, but Coach, you're always involved in something. Every time I talk to you, there's something new in your life. You started a news magazine called Gridiron Aficionado. Tell us a little bit about that, and then what's the status of the Manny Matsakis show, and anything else that you happen to be doing within the football sphere.
So Gridiron Aficionado is something that I decided to start working on a few months back, and think of it as a high-end coffee table piece, like old school, but big. I mean, way bigger than a regular magazine. But it's like I want to do something that is there for the passionate fan. So right now I'm in the formative stages. And people they go to the website gridironaficionado.com, put their email in, and then they'll start to get hey, this is what we're working on. The plan is the magazine will start going out in 2025. Now, I was planning on doing it much sooner in 2025, but then all of a sudden I get a call from Hal Mummy, I get calls from Art Briles and some of my buddies in coaching, and they're like, hey, we're getting in this new summer professional football league. It's a AAA league called the International Football Alliance. So Hal Mummy is going to be the coach in San Antonio. Art Briles is coaching the Dallas team. There were originally 6 teams that they announced in the league. And there's one in Tampa Bay, the Tornadoes. And then you've got the Baltimore Lightning. Huntsville, Alabama has a team. And then in the West, you have Dallas, San Antonio, and there's a team, Will, in Chihuahua, Mexico, across from El Paso, right? They actually have averaged, they were in the Mexican Pro League. They're averaging about 18,000 fans a game. Wow. So think of it as a AAA ball for football, for guys that there's guys in this league that are in the NFL, or they were in training camp and got cut or something, or they're looking for a way back. They want to develop. And then about 2 weeks ago, they called me and said, hey, we want one more team. We like your region and here in the Ohio Valley. And we got the 7th team. So everything gets going. We have training camp in May 15th for games starting June. We have CBS Sports contract, which would be pretty cool. And then there's a company called Rio down in Dallas that's going to do like an NFL network, 24-hour channel on the league. It's truly a way that guys, it's not semi-pro ball, it's minor league. It's like you think of those baseball teams that are like trying to work their way up. That's what this is. So guys they're getting paid a stipend. They're coming in and they're in the community working. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But here I am, head coach, general manager. It's like, holy smokes, there's a lot to do. The magazine's there. And then obviously my podcast, I was getting ready to relaunch that. Then this hit. I'm like, hold on. So all I do is I stream on a regular basis now. But the podcast will be back. I've got so many people want to come on it. In fact, who did I talk to the other day? A buddy of mine up in Colorado. We're going to be on the phone. Warren Sapp. And I would visit him. So Warren's a good dude. He's all fired up. He wants to get into the magazine, into the league I'm doing. So we're going to have a conversation. They got a game, I think, against Arizona State. Somebody, they play a big noon kickoff on Fox. Colorado does. Mm-hmm. So he wants to visit next week a little bit. And I will. Warren's a good dude. He's a great guy. So I'm just excited that we're getting so many people fired up about this. So it's good. That's what I'm up to lately. Imagine that.
Yeah, what I like about the Manny Matsakis podcast is the the individuals you interviewed. I'll never forget that coach from like Amsterdam or something like that you interviewed. Sorry, guys, about a couple of years ago. That was wild. That was wild. So again, I really hope you launched that. That's always good to hear a lot of football stories. Joey, you want to plug You Heard on the channel right now?
Oh, we know You Heard. We come on Sundays and Wednesdays. We'll be and we're having a contest. We're giving away a couple of tickets for the Wake Forest game coming up next Saturday. One ticket you'll be sitting with Benny Boondocks, my partner. You'll be sitting with him, and then we have another ticket somewhere in the state. I don't know where the ticket is, but we're giving away 2 tickets. If you like and subscribe the You Heard podcast on YouTube, and you you let us know the keyword, which we let you guys know on our last show. So you have to watch the last show, let us know the keyword. This Sunday we'll plug the keyword again, so you have another chance to win. We'll announce the winners on next Wednesday. So yes, you'll get a chance to watch Wake Forest for free. I think it's the final home game, right? Is it the final home game? Yep, final home game. So yep.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, I will have both links of these individuals down at the bottom once this live broadcast is done. So you're able to subscribe to Manny Matsakis, and you're able to subscribe to You Heard podcast and get yourself a free ticket. Manny, before I promise I'll get you out early. Before I let you go, anything else you want to plug before we dismiss tonight?
Oh shoot, I'm good. I mean it's like my life is full right now. It's so much happening with this league, and it's going to be fun to do that. We've got a website, OhioValleyIronman.com. We're actually this will be pretty cool. You'll like this, Joe, you and Will. I'm in the middle of working out. I've been writing, can you imagine, a script. I'm actually putting together a reality show called Forging the Ironman. Nice. So how this thing goes together, how it all starts off, how we're building up. So we're starting shooting that here right before Thanksgiving, and then we got our video editing team. We're going to be putting it up, and we're looking for, and maybe you guys can help, different YouTube channels that want to have it on there. We'll give you the recording like that. Mm-hmm. And then also we've gotten my agent says that like Amazon Prime is interested in something like this, so we can get that on there and some other places. So it'll be Forging the Ironman reality show. We're going to do, it'll be about a 45 to an hour long episode, and it's going to go out sometime in December, the first episode before Christmas, and we'll do one every month and then just build it from there.
Send me the video. I'll plug it on here.
Okay.
We'll plug it as well on You Heard, definitely.
Definitely, I'll plug it on. You're a good friend of the show, so definitely plug it on for you.
Coach? Are you running the same offense? Same.
You know what?
It's like Novocaine, right? It always works.
It does. You know what? You got to. It's like that's what I'm known for. That's what I know. Yeah. You know me. I don't have any playbooks. It's all just up here. We just go. Right. So I've been running it my whole life, and I still like helping high school and college guys. I have 2 NFL teams that I work with as well. Just to sort of give them some insight, which has been good. Yep. So when you see that jet sweep and all this stuff in the NFL, that's probably where it's coming from. So
I wanted to ask you real quick. I'm sorry, Willie, man.
No.
Real quick. So Coach Dawson, did you guys talk about Coach Dawson's
we did.
offense a little bit? Yeah,
we did.
So I'm confused with the air raid, right? His splits are tight, right? I'm bothered by it. I'm like, why are the splits so tight?
Okay, I'm going to tell you why. And here's the thing, Joe. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, because I brought that up earlier before you came on. I said it doesn't have air raid DNA in it, right? And, and even ours, like in my offense, our splits are big too. That's, I mean, one time when I was at Wyoming, we played Tennessee, and my my guard to tackle split was 8 feet. Huge,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we ran up and down the field on Tennessee in Knoxville. So, but the thing is, it's like, I believe it's Mario and the O-line's coach's influence. They get really uncomfortable by spreading it out. And I will tell you one thing that Hal Mummy told me, who gave Shannon his first job. He said when Mario called him about Shannon recommendation, what do you think?
Sure.
And Mario told him point blank, we're not going to run the air raid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And he says, we're not doing that. And so this is, I think it's their way of trying to like put a governor, you know, like when you're in a car and you can only go so fast. Right. That's their way of, if you can imagine, if he spread it out, it's good as it is now, it'd be even harder to deal with. But, you know, I think their it factor in all this is Cam.
Yep.
He's the reason they can do that. If they had anybody else at quarterback, it's going to be, it might get ugly. So I think that they might want to be looking at, hey, how do we become more of a pure air raid team? Yeah. Protection's easier. It helps the kids up front. Unless you got dudes, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, because the air raid principles that we're thinking of, space is such a huge thing in the air raid, and it's a lot. I see a lot of condensed formations. The splits are tight.
That is not Shannon.
Yeah,
that's not him. Because I can remember when he was at Kentucky. That was the situation he fell up. He got fired at Kentucky as the OC, and Mark Stoops fired him.
Yep.
And then he had to go down. He went to Southern Miss and had a bit of a rebirth. And I'll never forget. He played Kentucky the next year, pure air. He did all the stuff that Mark wouldn't let him do, basically, because Mark would get upset when he was just throwing bombs downfield, all you know, just throwing the deep ball. He didn't like that, and so they beat Kentucky. They beat them bad. It was a bad thing. I texted Shannon after it, and I said, "Congrats, man, redemption. I'm proud of you." You know, and he was like, "Thanks, coach. I appreciate it." One of those deals. So I mean, I think you got to let, as a head coach, if you're bringing the air raid in, and that's all he really knows. There's going to come a time where if you don't let him do it all, he's not going to have all the answers. He's not a condensed offense guy. He's not that guy. And I think you're going to cause problems somewhere down the road. It may be an adjustment. He's used to doing this, but he can't because of the way you're making him play. Yeah.
Coach, I have a question for you. You brought something that's interesting.
I agree.
With the split lineman, you said it'd be easier for protecting the quarterback. How's it easier protecting the quarterback with a split than it would be for a condensed formation?
Okay. It's easier because you're putting the defense on an island. So if you start spreading out, they can't twist. They'll never get there. So you're eliminating twists right off the shoot. I mean, right then and there. And the way that they're doing it, they're taking these sets, and the linemen are off the line of scrimmage as far as legally possible. Now they're coming back, they're pocket protecting. It's also going to give the quarterback better passing lanes. He can see through these guys. All that stuff is what air raid really is. Now, so it does help them tremendously. And I know Leach and I used to talk about this. The tackle's rule is you go as wide. If you can whip that guy, you go as wide as you want. There's no rule on how far you can go. But the center does get help because the guards aren't out there so much. It's more, you know, they're about 3 foot, but then the splits start getting bigger with those tackles. And now you've got everything there for you. And it's really easy because you're not messing with tight ends. You've got a situation where you can identify the front very easily. And for linemen, it's like there's really the air raid truly. Now, they're not doing this at Miami. The air raid has one protection. That's all they should have. There's one. I only have one in my offense, like the run and shoot style. There's one protection. It's a system. You block anything that shows up. But when you start condensing things and you start adding a tight end, you start doing some of these things. Like I'm talking a tight end that's like next to the tackle. They have tight ends that widen out. That's totally different.
Yeah.
But when you do that, now you have to have, I've seen offenses have like a dozen protection calls. That's more difficult. You're going to make mental errors. I mean, it's just simplify it, get a lot of reps at a few things, and that's what the air raid really does.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Simple, man. Simple. I've wondered that, and it bothered me for so long. And I was like, as soon as I can ask someone, I'm gonna figure out what's going on here.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm happy at least that Miami's throwing the ball 55% of the time in every game, more so because I was afraid that they'd be way too balanced. That's a Mario thing. And that's why originally he wanted Jason Candle, because Jason Candle's literally like 51 run, 49 pass, or vice versa. The Canes are 55% pass and 45% run per average this year. So that's where that's at least I'm happy to see them throw the ball more, especially when you have a guy like Cam. But thanks for clearing that up. I didn't realize that the protection was so much wider in an air raid than it is, in a more traditional condensed form. So thank you for clearing that up. I didn't even know that.
I felt like we had two foot splits at least. Two.
What's that?
Yeah.
We were 3 foot between center guard, 5, and then the guard tackle could go toe to toe or out of 5 foot is pretty much what we did. We had a great tackle, which widened them out, but that's about right. 3 and 5 are almost base most of the time. So,
create natural running lanes too.
Well, the difference in what the run and shoot style and the air raid is, the air raid's dropping straight back, pocket protection. We're always rolling one way or the other. Firm protection front side, soft on the back side. So it's this type of protection. So run and shoot is more difficult to get to the quarterback because they don't know where he's going to be. He could roll right or left or quick game, and in the air raid, where he's going to be, and when they're doing drills, they're going to the spot that the quarterback's going to be. That's probably the biggest difference in protection. It all comes down to O-line. You got great O-line, you can win. You're going to get receivers at Miami. I mean, really? I mean, geez, it should. They should have first rounders all the time there.
Yeah, we talked about before you got on, Joey. We talked about how everybody was a fan of Mike Leach if he would have been hired. And I was a little rough on Donna Shalala before you came on because I basically blamed her for never even giving the guy a shot.
Yeah.
So
that would have been incredible with the athletes in Miami, in Florida. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I would have come. I mean, he had talked to me and said, "Hey, you want to come to I would have been with him there." But then he went to Washington State, and I'm like,
no Pacific Northwest for you, huh?
Not there. I'm not in Pullman, but I'm sure Pullman's a great place. But it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's cold. Let me tell you, it's cold up there. Yeah.
Hey, Coach is in Ohio, man. He knows about that cold.
Yeah.
But Mike was like, Mike was a bit like that woman. I could have been in Miami in the weather. I'm dealing with the frozen tundra up here.
Yeah. Oh, no question. Yeah.
God rest his soul, man.
Unbelievable.
God rest his soul, man. What a great guy.
Oh, by the way, Will, when I was talking to Hal, I was going to let you know if you want Hal Mummy to come on the show, I'll give you his number. He'll come on anytime.
Please. Yes.
And I don't know
you can tag along
to some things, but what you could do with Hal is like something like this, and then if you want to show some video of what you want, and then he'll know. And they're on purpose because I know Hal will do this for you. I didn't want to tell some of the stories about Shannon that he told me because I don't want to steal his thunder. Let him. You guys will be on the ground talking. You're rolling some of the stuff he's going to tell you about Shannon, which is awesome. That's coach stories, right? But Hal will come on for sure.
Manny, you're the man. I thank you so much. I owe a lot to you. I really do. I really, really do. And again, when you start the gridiron showcase, send me a video. I'll put it together and I'll plug it for you on 305 Sports now until the season starts. Okay.
Awesome, my man.
Good to see you, Joe. We'll be talking soon.
Sure, I'm
Great to see
gonna call you tomorrow, Coach.
Okay, that's
Yep.
perfect. All right, we'll be visiting. All right.
Awesome.
You got it. Okay. We'll see
Ladies
ya.
and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate you guys coming on. Coach, thank you. Joey, always a friend of the show. Thank you so much as
Appreciate
well.
you, Willie.
I appreciate you too, my friend, always. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to subscribe and follow these gentlemen as well on X and Instagram as well, whether it's You Heard, whether it's Manny Matsakis at X as well, whether it's Manny Matsakis, he's going to get his podcast back. Follow him on YouTube or follow him on Spotify or wherever to get your podcast as well. Great stories, great information as well, especially about the carnivore diet. I have not forgotten that one either, Coach, as well. All right, hold on. We got Anthony Mendez passing game, especially RBs are getting positive yards. Anthony Mendez says we're passing a lot. Okay. So Anthony's a friend of the show. Thank you so much for chiming in. All right, guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. I put my voice on the line. Please subscribe, like, and share, guys. God bless you guys. See you next time. Go Canes. Go Fins. Everybody. Bye, guys.
Okay.